Welcome, everybody. This is Don Giannetti, lightingessentials.com. That's lighting-essentials.com and project2prosystem.com. And this is show number one of the Black Friday shows here on November 29th, 2020. And I asked one of my former members, Fong, Anjali Fong, to come on and talk about this really cool project. And I want to share it with you. It's a book. It's a hardcover book. And it's a book, it's called Ripley 200, a Bicentennial Project, celebrating Ripley County Bicentennial 1818 to 2018, celebrating stories of 200 residents. So you photographed 200 people for this. Welcome, Fong. Welcome to the Black Friday show. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
This is a remarkable effort here. And what gave you the idea to do this? What was the reason to go out and find 200 people in your county? Now, the county, Ripley County, is not very big. Am I correct?
It's not too big, but it's not small either.
Okay, and it's in
Southeast Indiana.
Southeast Indiana? Okay. Well, it's a really great book. When I got it, I opened it up and I started reading the stories in here. And I wanted to point out that these are just, for the most part, just like real people, just people. They're not captains of industry or any of that type of thing. They're just real people. Am I right?
Yes. Some are holding high positions, but of their stories.
Okay, you froze there for a second. You said some are holding high position, but what else?
But I didn't choose them because of
that. Okay, very cool.
They have a very good story to tell.
So where did you get the idea to do this?
I've had the idea to photograph the local residents for a long time now. When I first came to the area in 2009, I mean, I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody because I came from Malaysia. So I think the best way to get to know people is to talk to people, you know?
Sure.
So I had a website called Midwest Stories where I went out to photograph events just on my own to just be with the community. But I stopped that when I started charging people for my photography. But the idea was still in my head for a long time. And I think it was in 2016, was it, when we did the trip to Zion?
Yes, the first one.
Yes, remember we were in the hotel and there was a U.S. U.S. newspaper. Remember there was a
yes.
cover wrap and there was all these black and white faces.
Yes.
So that gave me, it spurred me further to want to do this. So in 2016 also, Indiana celebrated its bicentennial. And I photographed the torch. By then, I met up with a lot of people, and I just thought I just had to do it because Ripley County was celebrating the bicentennial 2 years after that. So I didn't start doing the first shot until 2017. Us to finish the project.
It took how many? 2.5 years?
Almost, yeah.
Wow, it's a lot of work.
From ideation to publishing the book, it was about 2.5 years.
And your background before photography is advertising art director, correct?
Advertising, I was a brand director.
Brand director. Well, the book is beautifully laid out. Let me show a few spreads here. A copy on one side. This is universal all through the book. Copies on one side, photographs on the other. And it's just really, really remarkable. And it reminds me of this this new form of writing. There was a book out just a few months ago called Dignity, where a photographer traveled through the Midwest and interviewed just regular people and photographed them at the same. Now, I should say he wasn't a photographer; he's a writer who also photographed. And he'll say he's not a photographer. I've got the book, and I would say, yeah, he pretty much is. He may not be, versatile, but he definitely knows how to capture his subject matter. And then your book comes out like right here, and it's the same kind of thing. These great stories about real people. I couldn't put it down. I've read every story now, but when I first got it, I had just a few minutes to go through it, and I ended up being late for a meeting because I just went to the next person and read their story, went to the next person and read their story. I was just so excited about it because I love reading about real people. As they say, everybody has a story, even if it's the simplest little story. It's so interesting.
Correct.
Let's look at some of your photographs, okay?
Okay.
Now, after doing 200 of these shoots, I imagine you've got some good stories to tell. That's a lot of work, Anjali, in a short amount of time, 2.5 years, 200 portraits, because you're also busy. I know you're a busy photographer. It's not like you're sitting around waiting for the next portrait to come along. So you didn't get to see much TV during that time, I guess. All right, you want to tell us a little bit about some of these shots?
Which one are you looking at?
Hold on, I'm going to share this with everyone. And there we go. This is your website, anjalifong.com. There's the book. The book is printed at Blurb, correct?
Yes.
It's a hardcover wraparound cover shot. Really lovely book. It's perfect, beautifully well done by Blurb. They did a great job. It came shipped to me perfect. So it's just really a nice book, and something.
No,
really
I really think they did a really great job because before I did the actual final printing of 110 bulk copies, I did 2 individual proofing. So it was just the photographs and with empty text, just because I wanted to see how it feels, and also sometimes you can look at the layout on the computer, but when you see it on a hard copy, it doesn't look great. So in terms of the layout, the point size, and everything, so I printed 2 times before I did the final round, and I was very happy with it. I mean, in that 3 times that I published it, the colors were consistent, the quality was consistent. Granted, it's a little bit high in terms of price, but I really think it's worth it. Yeah.
Photographers are producing art books these days. Price is no longer an issue because most photographers aren't looking for, when they're doing this kind of work, you're not looking to sell, 100,000 copies. That's not going to happen at this price point. And so the only other thing you could do to even lower the cost would be to go through a publisher, and then they publish 10,000 at a time. But you're lucky to see, a few bucks on every book, because their job is to move them out of the warehouses so their price is so low and everything goes on sale, etc. I've published books before, and I got to tell you, anyone who's looking to get rich publishing a book, it's not the right business for you. It's just not going to happen. It's really hard to make a lot of money or make any money at all. So, I mean, you're not certainly not getting rich on this. You're only charging a few dollars over what it costs. This is an expensive book to produce.
I had a pre-order of $99 before I got this printed, and I had, I think, about 38 pre-orders, and then on the launch day, I think I sold an additional 30 copies. So from 110 copies, I kept about 15 to myself, and I've sold all the 85 copies at $106. So that's $106 is $99 inclusive of the 7% tax. So I think that's quite a good achievement considering the price.
Yeah, I think we'll get you some publicity on this. I think there'll be other people interested as well. So tell us a couple of, you can see the portraits here. So tell us a couple of stories about some of these folks.
Okay. If you look at on the right side, the lady, yes, that one. So basically she is, her legacy is basically this Mylan museum. So this museum is dedicated to the group of basketball that won the success of the basketball team was so great because it was basically a David and Goliath kind of story from a small town, southeastern small town, Indiana, beat the big shots, in the basketball state championship. And the success of them actually, I don't know if you've seen that. I think it has Gene Hackman in it, in the role. So she wanted to keep that legacy of the basketball team, and she collected every single memorabilia that came in this museum. And I mean, everybody knew that she was the force behind this museum, but I asked her a different story, and I asked her, why did you do this? Because I know that she used whatever money that she has to build this museum. And she said it's because at that time she had cancer, and she prayed and she spoke to God, and she said if God heals her, she will do something great for the town. And she was healed. And so she said, you don't turn back your promise on God. And she did this museum. And this museum she bought the building, and the building was actually an old bank. So you can see the vault on the right side behind her.
That's cool.
And I'm glad I got this photograph of her, Dawn, because she passed away before the book was launched. So yeah.
Ah.
So I'm going to actually give this photo to be added to the museum.
Let me ask you this. What was your kit when you went out to do these photographs? What were you packing camera-wise, lighting-wise?
Oh, most of them, it was just one light. So I had the AD200, the Godox AD200,
yep,
and a small octobox. That's it, and a light stand.
So
most of the shots are all just one light.
That's wonderful. Tell us about this one.
I'm doing this solo, so I don't want to be carried too many
sure.
Equipments with me, and I think it just works perfectly.
I can't get this picture to come up. Yeah, this picture is not coming up.
I have to check that.
Yep, better check that one. Tell us about this guy.
Oh,
Did you
his
take a
name.
backdrop with you?
No, the backdrop is done on post. Yeah. So this was shot in my studio, and it had a gray uh, backdrop on it. So this one was, I took the inspiration, was it from this photographer, I think his name is Platon or something, and he always shoot his photograph this way, from a wide angle lens and then a little bit down. When I met this guy, that was the shot that I had in mind, that I wanted to do this. So this is also one light. So basically it's the light on the right side. And I added the texture during post.
Nice. What's your, are you shooting mirrorless cameras or are you shooting DSLRs?
I have a Nikon D750.
Okay. What about this guy?
Well, this guy, he is very big on civil reenactment.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I met him at the recycle store because he works there, and every time I see him, he was very nice to me, and I started talking to him, and he tells me that this is his passion.
Now, did you shoot this on
Yeah.
location or did you put him in post?
This is in my in my studio, and I did the background, added the background in post. So he had an event on that day, and so he came to the office. I mean, to the. But I just felt that with the way he was wearing the whole gear, it would look not as nice if it was just a plain backdrop, you know?
Sure, sure. Now, this guy's on location in a theater?
Yes. He bought this theater and he redid everything, and just, yeah, then this is his theater. So we shot this from the inside, and then when I looked at the background, you know, the neon light, the oval shaped lights, so I thought I'll just make use of that, you know, to add to the photo, and the two lights on each end. So this is also one light though.
Nice, very nice. You must have shot thousands of images for this project.
No, I actually, every time I just took like maybe 2 variations of each person, because I spent a lot more time talking to them before I photograph them. So like this lady, she lives in the town of Osgood, a very small town, but she is a very, very well accomplished artist, because even though she's from this small town, she has 2 small paintings up in the Louvre in Paris. So it's very unassuming. You know, when you look at her, it's very unassuming. So, but when you dig further, you know, I think people can really surprise you, because not everyone boastful or want to talk about their achievements, you know?
Yeah. So you only took a couple of shots of each person, huh?
All of her paintings.
Wow, that's great. I was going to ask what it was like to edit it down, but let me ask you this. Did you shoot people that you didn't use in the book?
Only 2 photographs I didn't use because they didn't.
They didn't work?
No, because there was some due to, you know, lack of time, There were some that I couldn't interview them and write the story myself. And those two that I didn't use were those that I couldn't interview. And then
okay.
I asked them to submit their stories to me, and they didn't. So I didn't add them in.
So what did you use to lay out the book?
I tried to learn in design, but I couldn't grasp it. So I used the one that Blurb provide. I think it's called Bookwrite.
Bookwrite. Uh-huh.
And it works well for me. It works well for me because you can do it gradually. You know, you can add the pages and do it gradually. So it works for me.
That's fine. Yeah. Whatever works is the best way to go. It's just a remarkable set of portraits. Just a remarkable set of portraits. This is one of my favorites right here.
He is the restaurant owner of Osgood Grubs. So this is, he's just like 2 blocks from where my studio is. So he's the owner, and you know, he's in his environment. So this is in the restaurant itself, and basically that's where he said he sits every morning when he comes in to have his coffee.
Nice. Nicely done. Portraits are really well done. They're just fun to look at, fun to read the stories on the books, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So you're going to do another one of these?
To do it very editorial, like, you know, because I wanted to use this book to get more editorial work with the magazines in Cincinnati or even in Indianapolis and Louisville.
Well, I think you probably will. I think you'll have good receptive eyes on your work. Get it in front of magazine publishers. This is fun.
Yeah,
And
this is in the house. They are big collectors of a lot of things. So if you look at the arrowheads, those arrowheads were the arrowheads that they found in their farm.
Wow.
And a big collector of the Indiana license plates as well. If you can see, it's a gradual year. So you can see like the one on the top left, it starts with 1929, 1930, 1931, 32, and it goes on.
Fun.
So sometimes, you know, when you go to people's houses, actually it provides a really wonderful backdrop, better than what you can think of. So you never know what you're gonna find. You never know what stories people have. And it's been a great journey. It's been a wonderful journey to discover the neighbors that I have within the county.
And you shot all over the county, am I correct?
Yes.
That's really remarkable. Well, I love the book. When you're planning this, would you do any scouting, and did you go out and scout something, or were you totally, when you walked in the house, totally, that was it, first time you've been there and you had to figure out what to do at that point?
Yes, most of them are like that. They would show me around the house, and then from there I would really start scouting which.
And how much time did you spend with each one?
So like for this particular couple, he actually owned a barn that has this petroleum company stuff, you know, packaging and all that. So that is one. It's another great area, but I thought this was the best of all because it has a combination of both their collections, you know.
Got it. How long would you, what was your normal time that you would spend on each portrait?
Um, more than 15, 20 minutes.
All right, very good. Oh, I love it. These are
Once I practice, you know, because I've done this, I mean, for this project, it spans for 2.5 years. So after a while, I just, you just know where to put the light and the setting. And it's just.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah. You get better at the things that you do most often. So, you know, the best way to get to be a better photographer is to make a lot of photographs,
Yes.
and you get really good doing that.
And the one thing I like about this project is because I can experiment on the lighting, and you know, there's no right and wrong because no one's gonna say this is right and this is wrong. So that was fun for me.
You got to make the shot the way you wanted it.
Yep.
Now, who is this?
Well, this girl, she studied fashion in Art Institute of Indianapolis. So she wanted to work in fashion, and this dress that she wore, she designed and sewed it herself for her assignment. So that's what I got her to wear. And, this is done in my studio, and I wanted it to be a little bit more fashiony looking, and she got the looks as well, you know. So yeah, she did. This is the one of the few ones that I think I took about 30, 40 shots of her because she just knew how to pose, and
Sure.
It was fun, and use it just to photograph her. So that was fun.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I love the book. I love the project. I think it's really cool that you've been able to do this thing. This is a big undertaking for any photographer. We have a lot of people here. If you'd like to ask a question of Fong here, all you have to do is hit your mute button and ask the question. I bet Jay Chatskill has a question. Jay, you want to ask?
Yeah. So you spent just hi. Congratulations! It really is an accomplishment.
Thank you.
And you should be very proud of yourself.
I am.
And so you would. How did you set up your? 200 people is a lot of people. How did you sort of get to know them enough where they would say, "Yeah, I'll be part of this"? And how long did that take?
Well, as I said, when I first came here, I didn't really know anyone, and I took the idea of, you know, MLM marketing. So basically, if you know one person and that person shared that story to 5 person, and that 5 person shared to 5 other people, then in the end, you get a lot of people who would get that nomination for you. So I first started talking to the local newspaper and tell them about this project that I had in mind. And I actually gave them 8 different categories that I was looking for stories. So either they are veterans, they are, you know, immigrants, people who've been married more than 30 years, local heroes, for example. So that gave people an idea of who in their friends list, you know, fall into those categories. So I got the nominations in, and then when I met up with those people, and then once
they gave you the name, the contact information, and all that.
Yes, and a lot of times I told them to call these people that they wanted to nominate, just to tell them that I'll be calling them. and to tell them about the projects. And then I think that made it easy. Rather, so it's not really cold calling because they
it's a warm introduction.
Correct. Yeah.
Beautiful. Any other questions from anyone?
Hi there. Did you give them a copy of the book or the photos, or did they get anything for participating?
Yes, they get a 8x10 print, and that was promised to them, was an 8x10 print. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a physical off a printer, right? Not a digital.
No, it's printed. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Good question. Yeah, it would be really prohibitive to give everybody a book because these books cost about $90 a piece, I think.
Who are the people that purchased the books?
Most of them were those that were in the book, and there are some that their family members actually bought the book for mom or dad who was in the book. Yeah.
I think one of the things that Fong and I are going to be working on come first of the year is getting this this book a lot more visibility. Really going to push to get it out there, not only to help her with her marketing of her photography, but also because I think the book really deserves a place. And I would love to, if anything, I would love to get a grant to have the books published and put in all the libraries in Indiana. That would be
That's good.
That would be a very, very nice thing to have. It's a remarkable collection of people from
4 libraries that's in the county.
This guy looks like Jay.
Better looking.
Well, Jay, I wasn't going to say that.
Hey, Don, can you?
You're setting the bar a little low there, John.
Yes, Michael?
Can you show one of the pages of the text? Give an idea what she wrote?
Yeah. Each, so hold this up to the camera here. Let me turn off the sharing. And then I'll be bigger here. But you can see how it's real short text on this one. Here's another one. Just a couple of paragraphs. None of the text extends over one page. All of the text is on one single page. So.
What did people write about? I mean, you gave them a questionnaire and then they sent you in their response?
Actually, most of what was written came from the interview that I did with them. Only, I think, about a handful that I didn't get a chance to interview them. So most of those were just and just talk to them, and then from whatever that interesting stories that they tell, so I'll dig a little bit deeper on the story, and so what I did was I did record all of the interviews, and then I had to rewrite all the interviews and then read through and see how best to tell the story within one page.
That's a lot of work.
Yes, the writing honestly took way longer than the photography did. I'm not I don't consider myself a writer, so it was very hard for me.
I got people you don't want to meet on a dark highway
or dark alley.
But This is a rock band called the Renegades. 25 years they've been a band. Great little story. They never miss. They have fans that have never missed a show. This is a little rock band from Indiana. They have fans who have never missed a show. Wow, that is really.
And do you want to go on page 36, Dawn?
Yes. Oh, another rock band, 650 North. Another rock band.
And they opened for Guns N' Roses one time.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. So you got to shoot a whole wide variety of people, from a outlaw country band to a rock band to a gal who put together a basketball museum. I mean, that's really, really incredible.
And in that book, there were 3 centenarians. So one was 107, one was 102, and one was 105.
Wow. Nice.
So, you know, you never know. You never know. There's so many interesting people living close to you.
That's right.
You don't really have to travel far. And I think that was one of the objectives of the book, was to show people, you know, this is a small town, small county in southeastern Indiana, but look at the amazing people that are telling their stories in the book. It's just amazing.
How many people are in the county or the town?
Oh, I don't know. I have to check that. Not a lot, I don't think.
One of the things about projects such as this is a group of portraits. Had you put together 200 random portraits, that would be an interest. This is something I call the hierarchy of impact. You know, shooting 200 portraits, that's cool. A lot of people would say, oh, that's pretty cool, but they're just sort of random portraits. But you moved it up a layer, and you photographed 200 portraits within a county. So you put a little box around what you did, and that frames what you did in a light that is different than I took 200 portraits. Now you've got a little bit of a frame around it. Then the fact that you did it all within a short amount of time, a couple of years for the Bicentennial, which was in 2018, to do all of that, then that's another box tighter around the box below. So you keep moving up the hierarchy of impact by framing things like this. Something I tell photographers all the time: find a frame to put your stuff, or to put around your stuff, and you move from random to a collection. What, you know, and wherever you are, we are. Well, I used to talk about this idea a lot about 8 to 10 years ago. I don't know if it would be much anymore, but World War II veterans are dying off at about 1,000 a day. And there'll be a day really soon, when the last will die. There's a box in a box for a project. Maybe you put another box around it and say you photograph all the World War II veterans in your town or your county or your city. People who have interests that are a little bit different than everybody else. That makes another box to put around portraits. Like we in Arizona, we have a little town called Quartzsite, and during the summer, Quartzsite is I think there's a McDonald's there and a couple of truck stops, and not very many people because it's in the middle of the very hot desert. And in the wintertime, it's the 3rd largest city in Arizona because of all the snowbirds that go down there who are rock collectors. There is rock collecting stuff for as far as the eye can see. And see, that's another box in a box in a box, you know. I just love what you did. You just it astounded me. I remember you talking about it, and then you got real quiet for a while. Didn't hear much from Fong for a while. Then, you know, you popped back up, and I guess you just put your head down and went to work.
I don't like to talk about things that are not finished. Talk about things that's work in progress.
Work in progress.
It's just not my style.
Well, very
but
good.
If you want to show people page, what page is that? Page number 7, Don?
Page 7. Oh, yeah. You actually took this portrait too, of this. I don't know how that yo-yo made it in your book. I wrote the foreword, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do that.
You didn't know when I photographed you in February this year, took that many photos of you. You thought I was just taking photos.
I thought you were kind of a stalker. I mean, you know, it's like, oh, all this time, I finally have a groupie. Yes.
Was it the 600mm lens that gave it away?
No, it was like for 3 days, every time I turn around, she's like photographing me. Like, I don't know what to do.
Now you know.
All right, we got to have some questions from other folks. This is an opportunity if you've ever been thinking about doing a book like this, find out.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily have a question, but I just want to thank you both, so much for doing this. I've been thinking of similar projects for a while, and I just hadn't put anything on paper. So as I'm watching this and seeing the pictures and kind of the process, and I'm putting stuff on paper. It's pretty exciting.
This is an interesting arena for photographers. 20 years ago, we couldn't make a book. We couldn't afford to make a book. The only way you could make a book is to get somebody to print, 5,000 copies of it. And it would cost you $25,000, $50,000, and they'd sit in your garage for the next 15 years. Because the only thing we would do as photographers is we would think retail. We're doing a book. We got to do a book. We got to sell it for $27.95, or otherwise, everybody else's prices. No one's going to spend a lot of money on a book. And that's then thinking. Now thinking is, yes, people will spend $275 on a book because the book becomes a piece of art. The book as art is what's helping photographers build not only some much needed income. You're still not going to get rich. You're not going to sell enough books to, buy a Lamborghini, unless it was like really used and made out of Legos. But you will establish yourself, build credibility, etc., and have something that's a piece of art. So photographers are starting to put together books that are limited editions. So this collection of photographs, I'm only going to print 40. It's going to be printed at Blurb or Milk or SAAL, SAL, or whatever that's called. Step up from that would be edition 1. Edition 1's a wonderful printer I would recommend you guys take a look at, but there's minimum orders, like 5 is a minimum order. Quality is outrageously good. But building these limited edition books, maybe you only print 100, maybe you only print 50. Well, in a printed book, 50, signed and numbered, that's easily worth, in some cases, $350 to $1,000. Some photographers are getting $5,000 a book because limited quantity, limited availability, and personally done by the photographer. So it's an amazing way to do it. And when I look at Fong's book here, I don't see this as something that would ever go on Barnes and Noble. I see this as a piece of art. This is a collection of these great portraits. And the fact that it is a limited edition and she's only planning to probably print 1,000 at some, maybe we reach 1,000 and cut it off, makes it really special. And something for everybody to think about, because there's other ways to make money in photography than just the same ways we did it 25 years ago. If it was popular in 1990, forget about it. Okay, just forget about it. Move on. Got a whole bunch of new stuff happening now. Any other questions?
What does the front and the back, the cover look like? Are they
this is the cover.
uh-huh.
Is it backwards to you guys, or is it?
No, it looks fine.
Okay, because it's backwards to me here.
The raccoon.
This is the cover.
That's a raccoon?
Yes.
Yes. and this is the back. It's got the ISBN number down there, and it's printed on. This is the luster paper.
This is because of the page numbers. This is just a standard.
Okay, they couldn't do it the luster that big, this big. Well, they did a great job with the printing. They did a great job with the printing.
Yeah, I like that they're not just the stories on one side and the photographs on the other. I mean, the photographs can go as far on the other page as you want them to go.
Yeah.
So you can lay out for impact.
Yes, there's a few in there where the picture actually goes across the bottom and the type goes across the top. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Only two because of the subject of the photographs, because that can't go into the other format.
Did you when you were thinking about this, did you want to have the photos be so many landscapes and so many portraits, or did you?
No,
because
no.
There's a variety, and
well, it was either it was landscape or portrait. So that decision is made when I am on location or.
So it was whatever made fit the scene.
Yes.
Huh.
And yeah, so you never know until you get onto the location, and then from there you can decide whether you want to shoot it on a tight crop or show a lot more background if the background has lots of interest in it. Yeah, but the one thing I wanted to add on about this book, I think what made this really special, in my opinion, is everyone is given prominence. So everyone has one page to themselves. They're not sharing. So when they actually, the person that's in the book, when they show it to people that, hey, I'm in this book, right? There's a sense of pride that I'm sharing with these people, because most of them are just, normal day-to-day people. But after the launch of the book, I've heard a couple of people say, hey, I was in the book, and I think that sense of sharing that pride with the residents is much bigger. So I made it way more bigger than just the photography. It was a sense of sharing with the local residents.
Wonderful.
Now they can tell people I was in the book.
Yeah, I think it takes on a life of its own at a certain point. When it goes out to the world, it's just not your book; it's their book. Correct. As well.
Correct.
Speaking of the printing, excuse me. So speaking of the printing, one of the things I was kind of curious about is, did you do any limited editions where it was maybe a slightly different print? My thought process on this is, I'm big into Omaha. I mean, I love Omaha, as weird as that sounds, you know, but I mean, I love the town I live in. We've got a lot of cool people. We got a lot of cool, you know, architecture, et cetera, et cetera. But we also have bookbinders here. And I'm thinking, you know, some of these projects that, you know, I'm thinking of maybe doing a limited run of, say, 10 books that are bound by a bookbinder here in Omaha. I'm wondering if you do anything similar.
I lost you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Did you do any limited run editions that was different than the final?
Well, before I printed the final, I did 2 prints just to check on I call it approves, you know what I mean? And then I proceeded to order 110 copies. And then I just ordered the second batch for 35 copies. Main reason on the numbers is because I didn't want to keep too many books to myself, because that's cost to me, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So the thing is, I think the numbers is actually up to you. How many you want to print? What do you want to achieve with the book? For me, I knew that the price point was high. I mean, I'm selling it at $106, so I didn't want to order too many, because when I ordered, I mean, I had to prepay that amount, you know, so that's money going up as well. So I didn't want to take the risk to have too many in stock. So once the first batch sold out, then I proceeded to order 35 copies, and the timing was right, because Blurb just gave a 50% discount for the Black Friday or Thanksgiving sale, so that
Yes.
worked to my advantage.
Yes, I'm taking advantage of that as well. I'm going to print my yearbook a little early to get that 50% off. So
It's a lot of savings, 50%.
it is. I will say this about Blurb: if you can, when you're doing your book, if you're able to upgrade to the matte paper, it's really, really good printing. Really good printing. Anything that you do with a hardcover is only sent to a handful of printers. If you know how Blurb works, they don't have printers. They're a middleman. They send stuff out to printers, because if you're a print shop, the last thing you want to do is have that printer, that 4-color printer, sitting there with no paper running through it. The only way they stay good is with paper running through it. The only way you can make money is to run paper through it, be printing. And so Blurb found a way to, you send your file to Blurb and it sends it out to somebody in Omaha, and then there's 4 shifts open in Tallahassee, and a bunch of stuff goes down there. But when you're doing the hardcover book, it goes to only a handful of higher quality printers, because if they screw it up, it's a bigger cost to them to reprint it than it is for some of the paper covers. So really do understand that they do make super high quality books. So
if you did the Verb thing, do you have to have everything together to take advantage of the sale, or can you just buy it for?
No, you can't.
No, they're all, it's all because of the way Blurb works, Jay. The reason that they can have this 50% off sale, we're all commercial photographers. What happens in December?
Christmas.
A whole lot, right? So the Christmas stuff has been printed. It's done. It's the catalogs are out. No one's, when I say no one, I don't mean no one, but the vast majority of that printing's done. So you got a lot of presses sitting out there empty. So Blurb is going, okay, if your guys' press is empty, you're going to give us a better price to run paper through it. And they're going to go, yeah, we don't want to sit empty. So Blurb says, okay, we'll have a 50% off sale. So it matches what's happening to the printers rather than anything to do with all of a sudden Blurb isn't making any money on it. They're still making money. It's
I didn't know how they work. So so they have upstream, downstream, and
yeah, absolutely.
they work
absolutely.
their network. But I mean, if I don't have a collection of stuff, a defined collection. So if I'm thinking about doing a book like Fong did, that's 200 pages. But can you take advantage of the sale and then organize your book afterwards?
No, nope, not with Blurb. You gotta. Milk has done that twice, but they haven't done it.
Yeah, you have to have the book ready for printing before you can.
So the best thing, Jay, is to get a folder on your desktop. I have one on my desktop right up there. And every time, whenever I'm working and I have a picture I think I'd like to print or save or put in my portfolio or whatever, I drag it into that alias. Every time I drag it in, because I don't want at October try to remember what those good shots were that I did in February.
Right.
They're all in that folder, and sometimes there's 40 pictures in there, and sometimes there's 400 pictures in there. I don't censor myself or critique myself at the point of putting them in the folder. If I like it, that's really nice. It goes in the folder. I'll throw it out later. So.
What kind of pixel count or resolution did you use for this?
300 dpi, and then you just put it onto the app that you're using to do the book layout.
Yeah, Jay, what you do, she used BookWrite, which is Blurb's online tool, right? You just drag your images over, your high-res images over there. Blurb shaves them down, turns them into 300 dpi. If you're working in InDesign, you put your high-res photos in everywhere. You just use high-res. You fit them to the boxes, etc., the size that you want to do, which I'm going to do here at I'm going to do it at 1 o'clock Mountain, noon Pacific. I'm going to put together a promotion in InDesign so you can see what we do. But then when you export it as a PDF, the PDF, print-ready, press-ready PDF converts it to CMYK and to the 300 dpi it needs for press.
When you say high res, where does
whatever you shot? I mean, your file. Don't make it smaller. It's
okay,
the highest res you can get.
So it's okay. So don't crop it. Well, you have to crop it.
Crop it. Don't resize it pixel-wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you use the BookWrite, you don't even have to crop it.
No, you can crop it there.
Yeah, you can crop it within the app itself.
It's the very same way with InDesign, Jay. You just you don't worry about cropping your picture in Photoshop. Crop it when you get it into InDesign or Affinity Publisher or whatever. At noon Pacific, when we do this this promotion thing, building a promotion, I'll be doing it in InDesign, and then I'll do another one, a second one in Affinity, because some people don't want to pay Adobe to get InDesign on their subscription plan, and some, $50 for Affinity is certainly worth it.
Yeah, I just bought the Affinity one. Yeah. Thank you for the reference. Can you start with Blurb, just for example, could be other people too, and just start putting together your book, or do you have to purchase it? You can't purchase it before you know what it's going to be, I suppose.
No, you put it together before you buy it.
So you can sort of test it out and get a see how it might go this way, that way, or the other
How long
way.
did you have your files over at Bookright, So Fong?
I think from the day I started doing the layout to printing, it was at least 5 months.
Yeah. So you can spend forever building it over on Bookright. Okay.
So when you use
Because
the
every time you do it,
Bookright software, are you working on your computer with it and then uploading it to Blurb, or are you always online working?
I think the app is independent of Blurb until you want to upload it.
The app runs natively on your machine, and the moment you leave it it's cloud-based, Michael.
Okay.
So you're designing in the cloud essentially, but the operational part is happening on your machine. You're not like trying to go through the cloud to move text over or something. It's right here, and then the moment you save it, it pops it right up to the cloud, or it's doing it intermittently. But you upload your images first. So first you upload your folder of images, then you drag them into your Blurb, your Bookright, get them to the way you want it, and then you can say, okay, save for next time, and it just saves it up on the cloud until the next time you pull it down and work on it.
Okay, cool.
But can I say something, Don?
Sure.
Jay, you were mentioning about you want to do a book that is of 200 pages. Actually,
No.
you have to. And Blurb actually allows you to print a book if you have just 20 pages minimum. You can
So you can do a portfolio
yeah.
type thing.
You know, I can show you, like I did this book with Blurb as well. So this is for my client, Macaron Bar.
Right.
And so what I did was I wanted to just put in all the photographs that I've done for them in the book, you know. And I think this was just 40 pages. So I think once you start printing little books like this, you will get into the habit of printing more books, just to show people all this portfolio that you have.
It's just way too much fun.
It's contagious. I'm telling you.
Really, really is.
So like this is also very similar to the Ripley 200 book. So this is image wrap. It's just that this is a square format. I think this is 7 by 7 inches. And I picked a different kind of a more, it's a different, more glossy paper because of the small number of pages it allows it. And it's great that you can just show your work, you know, in a book.
Yeah, 7 by 7 is small enough to go down in your camera bag.
Yeah. And then remember, we also have this book that we did done with
That's
this. So
yeah, that's the trade book. That thing came out remarkably better than I expected it to.
yes.
Isn't it? I mean, it's something like, I want to say, is it 120 pages so far? I don't think they're numbered, but it's a.
Yeah, but the printing is just amazing.
It's just,
you know?
I think they were like $14 a piece. I mean, just super amazing. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Fong. Thank you for coming out and sharing this with us. And you certainly certainly did a great project. It's really great. I have not put this into my library yet because I will. It'll go up in my special section of friends and family and students. I'm just really jazzed that you did it, and congratulations.
Yep.
We'll get it in front of a lot more people's eyes here shortly.
Okay, thank you, Don.
Everybody, thank you so much. The only commercial I have for this entire thing is Project 52 is a way to get into commercial photography. I think it's one of the most unique classes on the internet. It's a year long. It's totally involved, and it is driven by me. I'm on every call. I'm in the Facebook group. It's not a bunch of recordings that you watch. It's week by week. We build and build and build. And the other thing is, great athletes have coaches. Great CEOs have coaches. I'm a coach for photographers. I'm a mentor coach. I will kick your butt. I will push you to places that you didn't think you could go. And we do that in order to try to cut down on wasting time getting started in the business. So you can check that out at dongianetti.com, or you can go over to project52prosystem.com. And that concludes the selling portion of our program. Thanks so much, everybody. It's the day after Thanksgiving. You guys are sitting here on Zoom. I think, except for Mike. Mike is in line at Kohl's waiting to get booties. I don't know what that is, Mike. They got booties in Omaha, man. Was it little? Are they like rain gear or something? What are you doing out there?
I'm sitting at my desk.
Oh, okay.
That's somebody else on the booties.
Sure you are, Mike. All right,
he just
everybody.
ordered the new Uggs on Amazon.
Yes, we got to get some Uggs. Everybody, thank you. Anjali, hang on. I will call you on the phone right after this. I want to thank you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks.